said that
On the line.
1/3 is incarnate, 2/3 are in the spiritual realm. So we are actually 20,000 or 21 billion.
Interesting.
No, that just that the idea that humanity is not just incarnate.
Yeah.
Right.
But that much spirits waiting for reincarnated. Can you imagine how long we had waiting?
We have to take very good advantage.
Very.
Again, we have
Every day.
reasoning and we have free will, two powers of the spirit, and we can make our progress as fast as we want.
We don't remember our past lives or anything like that, but we do have sometimes hints of our past. Do
You
animals?
mean as incarnate spirits, as humans?
Yes, as
Okay.
humans. Do animals, or is it possible for animals to have a hint or a feeling about their past?
No, I don't think so.
Mm.
They don't have this awareness, you know. To have this awareness, the spirit has to reach the
Their brain
individualization,
doesn't function
you know.
the same rational way
Yeah,
as ours
they don't,
does.
yeah.
They only have more natural instinct,
Yeah.
whereas we have different type of lobes with more reasoning. So that's
The
why
one
with
thing
different
in
access.
talking about awareness, the awareness of oneself. Some animals, like dolphins,
Mhm.
they can recognize themselves in a mirror.
Yeah, but dolphins have even higher evolution
You
than
know,
humans.
but you know that the idea that if you can see yourself and see that you are different,
Mhm.
you know, that they go like they look at this they do pirouettes and go pass by and look at themselves with the eyes on the side, you know, like checking like we do. It is very interesting.
What I,
The difference between animals and humans, and actually this awareness is the main difference is the awareness of God, the knowledge of God. This is in the Spirit's book. That separates. At the moment that we have that, then we are we are already in a good place.
What we see from question 592, 592 and on in the regard the differences and what are the links that we can possibly imagine, because it's actually in the field of imagination alone,
Yeah,
because we're
exactly.
so far
Exactly.
behind in the terms of the possibility of the spirit
Yeah.
as an individual
Yes.
being. I mean, individualization is one of the major thing that you see, and you also, when you look into the data regarding the scientific knowledge, and then you try to, it's so hard because scientific knowledge progresses,
As we do.
but 98% of scientific knowledge and research and whatever doesn't even consider the idea of spirit as we're doing here, because we have the knowledge of the Spiritist doctrine and I have the revelation that came through it, but in a double way, because the scientific progress plays a big role in that revelation.
That is
That's
true.
the difference. But the main thing is that when you say we are individual, our spirit has reached the level of human of spirit, because we have our process of individualization from the intelligent principle. And two points that makes us to imagine how difficult it is to make some inquiry into this realm is one that said that the big difference, because, and even when Kardec presses on the questions about the similarity in terms of intelligence, free will, and this and that, even individualization, he said, has some kind of. But when he refers to the way they are managed to come back right away, you know, the question about aberrant spirit, whatever, they're managed by a superior spirit that bring them away. And so the free will and the capacity that we have as a spirit to know about God and know and have the conscience of our own existing as a being, as an individual. So and then from there we kind of tend to have some ideas, and it's so hard to go far on, because when you look back on the line of evolution, what is the leap between the supposed branch of that ape or whatever that came to be the hominids? We have no clue about that. Science has no clue about that. There's some...
There are many things that are inferred because of the things that we know. But we know also that what we knew in the 18th century, in the 19th century, and now, the 20th century, the 21st, things are building upon, and we are knowing more and more and further and further. We are entering the era of the spirit. So we hope that at some certain point, the spiritual life will be taken into consideration on all this. Imagine the change of the idea of the evolution when we put the idea of the spirit in the mix. It's very exciting.
Mhm.
It's very exciting.
Yes.
You said something that I don't think I finished about the reincarnate right away.
Yeah.
It depends. We know from
Yeah,
lower.
Turtles live so long,
They
they have a
live so
lower
long.
evolution
Yeah.
than some of those species.
They might, they learn, they
Yeah.
go back,
Yeah.
they share that knowledge, that experience. Everybody grows on it and continue. But there are animals, the domestic ones, that they may take a little bit longer on the other side. We know from the books of André Luiz that there are some dogs or in other animals that assist them. They are working. They are progressing as they are working, because through work we progress. We know that how many times, and there is an excellent book, Ernesto Bozano, something about the invisible. It's okay. Ernesto Bozano wrote a book with many testimonies. It's like he made used a scientific approach, interviewed and received many testimonies of people relating having seen their pets or animals that were not there. They knew were dead or they were not dead. So the idea that they live, there is the soul, survives, as Kardec said. And the more philosophical, because this is entered in the philosophy when we cannot explain with science for now, it's in the philosophy field, the idea of and this is why Leon Denis, that is the greatest Spiritist philosopher, he was the one that brought that idea. Although that idea actually exists in many cultures, this development of
Well,
the
even
soul.
if you go referring to the question you made, the answer, the spirits, the final part of the answer for the question 540, when Kardec asked it, I don't remember now exactly what was the question, was not related to this specifically, but the spirits answered to him, telling that the archangel, not the angel, was in the atom. So there is, of course, a chain of continuation. Now, to put that in a perspective and taking as a springboard the scientific knowledge, who is still dealing with just one side of the equation, it's very hard to. But we have scientists that became spiritualists, that was many before, and now in our time many, and this is a process. And give us some hint that it's possible to
They are
connect the
conceptual
links with the
ideas.
doctrine
Yeah.
and the.
These conceptual ideas, this is part of the philosophy part of the spiritism. We have to explore them and try to, as I said, infer from what we know what would be or what it was. And I find great.
Yeah, well, as a spiritist, why wouldn't you even concern yourself on the progression of the human body coming from fish to a Homo sapien, because what's more impossible is what's more important is the evolution of you as a spirit.
Yes.
So you have other beings in other planets, other galaxies, other universes, completely a different physical form, which you might have been already. So I don't care if I was a fish. If I
Yes.
was a fish here, at some point it meant because my spirit hasn't evolved enough and I needed to have that experience.
You are still an part
Right.
of the intelligent,
So-
intelligent principle. Your
Exactly.
spiritual element progressing. But it is good that we talk about that. So we put everything into perspective, because we think that we are big shots, that we are very important. Pride and vanity. The discussion, people are horrified, many, that they have a common ancestor with primates. Look at the bodies. If you show to a child, they will say, yeah, they are the ugly relative, but it's there. But people feel offended. And it's not like that. It's not like, but we are genetically related. We are relatives, in a way. And this doesn't offend me. This just make me love them even more. But for others, it's offensive.
Well, we're related potentially through physical relationship because of the chromosome and the DNA, but on the spiritual level, we are related to everything because
Yeah,
we all
we
came
are-
from the same matter.
We are one.
So
Exactly. But we are. But even to get to there, we need to develop our intelligence has a long way to go. But we have to develop our intelligence to be able to start philosophizing, having abstract concepts, about things, and even be using logic to say, it's so logical for me. It makes sense. I can. It's not hopeful. We will learn more and more as we go. Things will be, as I say, they don't reveal everything, or we cannot understand, or we didn't yet reach the point, that we can appreciate and take, because every knowledge that we get, that we obtain, there is a moral consequence. What are you going to do with what you learned today? I'm not here to tell you what to do, but you have to meditate about this knowledge, about this information. What am I going to do with what I learned today? How am I going to relate with my animals, with nature, with the other animals, with the whole nature? How I will treat, So there are many. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
nothing finished.
No, that's just.
No, I just am very curious about something. According to Spiritist, if I have a little dog, and I feel like that's wrong, that if I'm not sure about the vocabulary in English, I think it's no, castrar.
To neuter or spay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like I'm doing the right thing. Even I have been talking to some people, and, they have been telling me, oh, yes, you should, because the dog cannot get sick. And then I'm like, oh, that's a little different. I mean, but I'm not very comfortable with you. I feel like if God created the dog like that, the dog's gonna end up getting sick no matter what. But that's me. That's kind of my belief.
That almost entering that part that I didn't. That it is another talk in itself about the dominion over. Our role and responsibility. We are co-creators, and God expects that we help creation. The lower organisms. There are many diseases related with intact dogs and cats. Okay, so part is prevention. There is nothing wrong. It's like to say then you should not take conceptionals, like medication to control contraceptives. Thank you, to control natality, because it is against nature. It's not like that, So we can reason this way. we can also say that the amount of animals, especially dogs, cats that are more domestic, that are abandoned out there, it is sad, and their destiny, because they don't have anybody to take care of them, it's even, you know. So there is nothing wrong in make a choice to do a surgery to control an aspect that otherwise would be, if you have an idea of number of baby kittens that one female, intact female, can have during the entire life, you know, it's like hundreds. And so why? Because if we don't help with the control of the species, there is nothing wrong in control. There is wrong in doing things because we want to harm, because we don't want, you know, I don't know, harm for me is the first thing. But all depends on our intentions. At this point in our evolution, if we bring a species inside our homes to live with them, or for them to live with us, you know, we have to have some control, help them. The moment that you remove, there is another factor, and I'm talking now as a veterinarian, you know, the prevention of diseases, the prevention of population, and also some certain aspects on the behavior that, of course, it's very strong in them yet. When the hormones are raging, they don't think of anything else. You know, they can get into fights, they can get into troubles, being hit by a car, because they cannot think. They just imagine a dog in love with the dog, you know, an intact dog, and the neighbor has an intact female. Every time she enters in her heat or the estrus, he will be in love, and he cannot. And you know, when we are in love, we are very dumb. We cannot think very clearly, and we only think. No, that is so strong that it may be the case that the dog will run when you open the door and be, you know. So there are many little things. You will do what you think it's right, but you inform. I think the best way to choose is to be informed, you know, and then you will weigh all the information that you got and make a decision for your baby, you know, because you are responsible for that baby. That's how I feel. That's how usually I explain to my clients. And if it was satisfactory answer, but any other comment, question? You don't have anything to say to us?
Now, one single question regarding Emmett. No?
Maybe she asked one. I remember she asked one question.
Yeah.
No?
They have this sweet dog that has, it may be that it has returned to them.
We think
you know,
reincarnate of
a
our
cat.
God,
A
your
Siamese cat.
Yeah. It's possible. We cannot say
Yeah.
for sure, but possibility is there.
We just
You know,
feel-
they
we
do
just kinda
return.
feel that.
They can
Yeah.
return to the same family over and over again.
Mhm.
They may return in the same species, in different species. It all depends on what they have to, how they have to learn, what they have, you know, to learn.
Just one question. I remember when our cats disincarnate, during the week, I was really sad. I mean, I was very,